Hello, my little sugar buggers, and welcome back. Happy Saturday. I hope everybody is having an amazing weekend. I know that I am. The sun is shining. It is warm outside, which is a freaking rarity here in the lovely state of Washington. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about my graphics and how I do certain things, and trust me, girl, boy, I started from the bottom, now I'm here, okay? I have literally been doing this since I was 13. It takes practice, it takes time, it takes effort, but it does definitely help when somebody's willing to show you. I know in the scene and in the YouTube community in general, I guess a lot of this stuff is very sacred and secret, and not a lot of people like to share their tips and tricks and techniques, which I think is hogwash. Personally, I don't mind sharing my tips and tricks to help you out. So for me, giving away my graphical secrets is really not much of a situation at all. But I do want to also just point this out. Everybody's got their own uniqueness and their own style, and this is encouraging you to create your own style as well, but just showing you how I do it firsthand. So this is kind of a tutorial on how I create my banners, but I would encourage you again to kind of play around so that you can develop your own style. This is more of just like a guide, obviously like a how-to or a how I do sort of deal. I've shown you guys, I don't know if I mentioned this already, I've shown you guys how to do thumbnails, which is a little bit more easier in Adobe, and I'm obviously going to use Adobe today to do these banners as well. So if you have Adobe Photoshop, this is going to be perfect. I do need to actually get on the GIMP wagon and show you guys there as well once I get a little more experience with it, because I haven't used it in a while. So with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and jump on in. Okay guys, are you ready? So here we are inside Adobe Photoshop CC. This is the foundation. This is literally ground zero. This is the important part. This is where it all begins. All right, so I'm actually going to put all of this in a Psd file that will be totally editable and customizable, and you're going to need this basically as your foundation. Or I can go ahead and give you guys the sizing of the pixels and stuff like that. That way, because I'm going to do a blog post and then post it later tonight. But until then, at least if you have the sizing, you can go ahead and start doing this on your own. But if you want the Psd file, so you don't have to do it, it's all like kind of pre-templated out for you, just stay tuned. I'll get that up for you guys a little bit later on tonight. Okay, so the part here, this white part, okay, this is the entire, I guess, the entire sizing that you're going to need for your banner to show up the way that it needs to. Keep in mind, everybody has different interfaces. Some use mobile, Apple, tablets, their phones. So it's going to look different on everybody's kind of resolution. Mine, I have a 25-inch monitor, so I know sometimes my stuff looks different on your monitor because you may have a smaller monitor. But this is just, again, how I do it. So you may need to customize accordingly in this red little rectangle. But for the base part, this is what you need. This bad boy is 2,560 pixels across. The height is 1,440. This guy here, and by the way, these two are necessary together. You can't just do one without the other. This guy here is the same width across, and he is 552 pixels high. He's a shawty. Okay, so yeah, this is where, everything in the red is where your graphics are going to show. So if we go back to my channel, this part here is technically in the red sector. Okay, so this is everything where you're going to put everything, and of course you can change the color. I just did this for you know, you being able to see it. Now again, you're going to notice these layers. These layers are so freaking important. Think of like toppings on a pizza. Each layer has its own purpose, and it goes really, or actually it is really easy when you make a mistake on a layer. Say, for instance, oh crap, you didn't mean to do this. You can't delete that unless you do this, but typically you can't delete that unless you delete the layer. But if you did it on layer 3 here, you made a whole bunch of dots and you decided, hey, ew, all you have to do is hit the delete button and like magic, it's gone. So every time you want to add something to your banner, say you want to do this here, and then you want to go ahead and add, you know, that next, you're going to want to go ahead and click this little page button right there, and that's going to add layer 4, and then there you go. Say you didn't like it, all you have to do is delete it. And there you go. So just keep in mind, layers are going to be your best friends, and always start a new layer for each additional thing that you would like to do. So keep in mind that your icon is also going to be over here in this corner somewhere. So don't put anything too important right in this side here. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I usually decide what color I'm going to pick by depending on my sim. So over here we have my sim. This is Jenna Gary, this is me, and she's kind of all ready to go. I don't really know what kind of banner I'm gonna do because I have this kind of color palette, so I'm gonna keep something fun and flirty. I'm kind of sort of thinking I'm gonna do maybe like a pink or something of that sort. So again, when I do this, I like to dress my Sims accordingly. Their outfits are super freaking important in this aspect. So I'm going to go ahead and dress her real quick to fit my needs, and I will be right back. Okay, so here we are with my Sim. I've kind of customized her to the way that I want to, or at least I'm envisioning my banner to look like in my head. So you're going to notice that I have these traits here, and each one hosts a specific type of pose. In case you want these, you can go ahead and find these on the Sims resource, things like that. All you got to do is just type in the Sims for poses, even on a Google search, and you'll get some good options here. So on your keyboard, you're going to notice there's a print screen. Hold on, you're going to hear a lot of noise right now. Okay. There's a print screen button. That's going to be your BFF. If you want, you can even hit the C button on your keyboard, and inside of your electronics art folder where the screenshots are hosted, there will be your picture there as well. If you don't want to use the screenshot option, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to use the screenshot option, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of get in close here. So if I'm quiet, I'm focusing. I'm going to go and play around with the poses a little bit, see which one I like. And sometimes it takes a lot of messing around and just experimenting to see what you would come up with. For me, I don't know what I want actually. I kind of like this, but I also like this look on her face here. So all right, I think we got something here. I'm going to kind of zoom in about her chest, and then I'm going to go inside here. I'm going to lighten this up. You guys pretty much know what it looks like. So you could either go into the bucket and pick a color, like here, any color you want, or you can also do like an overlay and then pick a color here if you didn't want to. So I'm going to do maybe like this light pink or anything so I can still kind of sort of see it. So we're going to go into edit. We're going to go into paste. Now you see me, I guess you could say, in my screen. Here I am. All right, so I go into the opacity. It automatically adds in a new layer, and I kind of drag it a little bit just to see where I would be. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of play around a little bit. I could even go and come in here and do a little free transform, flip horizontal, and go sideways. Remember, we're going to be over there. So I don't want to put anything right there. I think I like this, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with it. About right there. Let me see how much is showing. Okay. And this is actually a banner I'm going to be using, so I am being a little meticulous about it. All right, so dragging in this guy right here, which is like the, I guess this is like the little selector tool. I'm dragging it to the top of the pink line. I'm going to go ahead and press delete on my keyboard. Do the same at the bottom. Line it up nice and pretty. All right, go ahead and chop it off. If it's not perfect, it's really not going to ruin your day. And then there you go. So I'm also going to go ahead and crop out some of this extra stuff, doing the same technique I told you earlier. Taking the magic tool with this little wand here, we are in the magic wand, the magic wand tool. There's quick selection, magic wand tool. We're going to go ahead and click on the blue parts and hit delete. So there you go. Now we have a nice, clean, crisp edge there. For her, I want to kind of clean up the edges a little bit, make them a little more blended. So we're using my eraser tool. I'm going to do a little bit bigger here, bigger size. I'm going to go in and just slightly fade out those edges. I just really think this looks so freaking pretty. So I'm going to fade them out. Hold on here. Ooh, Okay, and then this little piece is kind of weird, so I might go back in there and like actually delete that a little bit. Alright, and then I'm going to grab my smudge tool, this little finger guy, and I'm going to drag it out, pull this in a little bit. Okay, so there we go. We kind of got the idea of it all. Let me see what else we could do. I could drag that out a little bit. Okay, cool. So now that we've got me in the banner here, the next thing that I like to do is play around with the way that my Sims look. This is proprietary. So this here is my tools, okay, that I freaking die by. These are my templates. Now obviously you're going to see them, but this is what makes my Sims look, in my personal opinion, so damn bomb.com. So I'm using my doll preset to put on my girl. You can probably see her change a little bit. Then we're going to go back into sharpen more. We're going to do this light sharp template, and it gives my Sim a crisper look. So you can actually see the difference between what she looked like and what she looks like now. I don't know if I'll actually use this banner because it's probably not going to come out that good. But at least, if anything, you'll get the idea. I probably will make something similar to this later. So next, all that I do is I go into image, I go into adjustments, bright contrast. I always bump up my brightness to about 20 on my Sims, and I usually drag the contrast down either a full 50 or somewhere in between. It's just the way that I like my Sims to look. Alright, so now that we've got that, we can go ahead and mess with this background a little bit. I might do the gradient effect here. All you do is click the gradient effect, and then I'm going to do maybe like a light pink or something, and then it's like more of like a rose, I guess, and then maybe like this. I want to do like a kind of gold champagne-y color. So now it looks a little like that. I like to either do the reverse and then do a radical design and then unreverse it. If you press the scale and you drag it out, it makes it look bigger, smaller, that sort of thing. You don't have to align it with the layer. It even brings it out just a little bit more. And there we have kind of our background design already. See how amazing this looks? And okay, so the next thing I usually do is I go in with this text tool here. I drag it out, and then I'll type in my username. So lately I've been only putting in, you're not going to see this obviously because it's small. Lately I've been only putting in Urban Sims, not the X's. I just like the way that it looks. So I'm going to put in Urban Sims. And I like to go into this tool here and just kind of play around with the point sizes. So there we go. We've got like a nice big face here. It says Urban Sims, obviously, Jen. And then I go ahead and hit my tool, highlight it, and then I can play around with kind of the different types of fonts. If it's not big enough, just go ahead and keep bumping up that point size there. About 350 seems to look pretty decent. Again, you can always play with your background if you want to. So there we go. We got the Urban Sims name there. Okay. And then I could even add in maybe another picture right on the edge there, like of a close-up of her face. So let me do that real fast. Okay. All right. I don't know if I like this or not. Oh, she's smiling. Why are you smiling? Let's try something else. Do we got anything ambitious? No. Materialistic? No. Damn. What about glutton? Oh, no. You look like a gangster. Evil. Oh, okay. Maybe evil will work. Hold on, guys. All right. But I want to do like a close-up of her face. Ooh. Okay, sorry, I get quiet because I'm focusing. There we go. All right, so now that we got that, we get the print screen. Let's go ahead and do the exact same thing as we did earlier. This one, I might go into image or actually go into edit, free transform, drag it out a little bit. Go ahead and push this arrow, apply. This is going to be fast, guys. Remember, this is how I do it. And then set the opacity so I can kind of see what I look like. And then put it in right about there. drag that out, go ahead and just crop, just crop these pieces here. I know I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible, guys, but sometimes I just go. All right, get that wand tool and delete that there. So when you have this issue and it's like still doing this little line, all you have to do to get out of that is just click deselect. By the way, I used to struggle with that so bad. I used to get so freaking frustrated. Let's go back in to our eraser here, which mine has actually disappeared. Sometimes the circles disappear, and I can't explain to you why that is. They just do. And so I don't really know what my sizing is right now, but I've done this for so long I can kind of sort of guess already. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and feather this out a little bit. If it gets a little bit bigger, don't worry about it. All you gotta do to clean that up is not that, Jen. Okay. Alright, all you gotta do to clean it up is just go into your layer and delete it. Go back up and delete it, right? Something like that. Okay. All right, so the next thing, again, just reiterating what I did earlier, go to about 20 on the brightness scale. Go ahead and drag on down until you're comfortable on the other scale. We're going to do a 37 on her. So you kind of notice that she's a little blurry right now. So again, going into that Smart Sharpen, I'm messing with my presets. I can go and kind of make her look a little more polished. It's not going to be perfect because I really did stretch her out a little bit, but it's going to look pretty nice. And then go and do the light sharp here. And once that kicks in, voila! So she looks a little bit nicer here. I'm probably going to just drag up her face right there. So we've got all this extra crap kind of in the frame, which I don't think looks too bad, but all right, there we go. Okay, so now that we've got that going on, we got the Urban Sims. What I like to do with my logo or my name per se is I like to add in a drop shadow, but when you add in the drop shadow, you add that in last because you're going to do a lot of layers with this and it's going to look really funky. So the first thing I want to do is kind of decide what color I'm going to play with. For her, I may do just a simple white, like maybe an off-white or some sort of white like that. I like to go into B level and emboss, click contour. I play with the depth a little bit and the sizing until I get like this kind of glossy 3D finish, and then I play with the soften. Next, I'll go in with stroke, and I'll usually keep it at a 3, maybe a 4. It just kind of depends on what it looks like. Then I go and I play with the color of this stroke a little bit. I can do like a gray, or sometimes I'll match like the background. I kind of like the way that the kind of like this peach color looks like, I guess. So we'll go in with that. We'll double stack it. We'll do like a 6 pixel on it or something, I guess. Again, this isn't going to be perfect, but I'm doing this kind of fast just to show you guys what I do. So we'll do that, and I'll just drag it around to see if I like it, which I do. I'm probably going to put this on the top here just because I think that looks a little bit nicer. Okay, and then I always add in my little new uploads daily sort of deal. And then to add in that, all you got to do is, what the hell happened to the rest of my thing here, Jennifer? Ah! What did I do? Okay, there we go. Jesus. I go in with my text tool again, drag it out, and then I'll type in like new videos daily. All right. And then I'll right click, select all. Probably make that about no, definitely gonna make this bigger, a 60 point. And then I can just drag it in here somewhere. Okay. I can also edit this, play with this, make this look a little bit nicer. But again, I just need to do a quick overview just to show you guys on how I basically do my steps, and then you guys can add in whatever you want to add in on yours. You know what I mean? This isn't actually going to be perfect or anything, but it's a good idea of what I do. And then I like to play around and kind of see where it's going to look nice, because I know there's like a whole bunch of like little widgets here, so keep in mind if you have like your Twitter attached and all that, that might look a little strange. We're going to go play with the font. I might actually have to retype this up here. We're going to do Caviar bold, and then rewrite this to new videos daily. in all caps. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. It looks a little more cleaner. That's like what my new style is, a little more clean. I used to go balls to the wall with that. So I can even do it like up here, or maybe like I want it over there. We'll just put it up here for now. Go ahead and jump into the colors and just mess around with that a little bit. Even just having it so subtle and soft sometimes looks really, really nice. I do believe now less is definitely more, at least for my particular liking. And I can even do like a drop shadow and then play with the opacity on it, or even just play around with like the distance and then the spread and then the size. The size actually helps out a lot, but for me, I'm not going to put in anything. I'm just going to leave it bare, but that's just a couple ways you can add to your drop shadow. So for our actual photo here, the X Urban Sims part, we're going to go ahead and rasterize that type. Okay, we're going to rasterize layer style. So now it's not editable anymore, but it's like an image, just like these guys here. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is go ahead and whenever you want to add more strokes on top of an old stroke, you're going to have to do that step. Or when you're done, then you can add in your drop shadow, because if you were to add in your drop shadow previously, okay, and you were to rasterize that layer and you went ahead and try to add a stroke after that, that is what will happen, and it looks very dodgy and messed up and edgy. So that's like that's why when you want to add a drop shadow in an extra layer, or that's why when you want to put in a drop shadow in your outer glow, do that last. Get what I'm saying? When you're all finished with all your strokes and stuff. I hope this makes sense, but I'm sure that for some of you it does. So we went ahead and added in a pink. I like it. I've got my outer layer on my drop shadow. It's not too harsh. If you put the opacity, you can kind of see how dark or how light it's going to look. Even just playing with the global light also positions the stroke in different angles. Like 90% angle usually looks pretty good, and you can go ahead and drag out that size a little bit like that. So now we have the Urban Sims, new videos daily. I can even go and add in my my contour and all of that onto this. Even if you don't want that black kind of look, if you see like how it turns black on the edges there in the inside, if you want to lighten it up, just do white on both sides. It looks pretty clean too. And then you can just do soften. That way it gives your flat fonts a little bit of dimension and it looks pretty nice. All right, so we're kind of getting there. We're definitely getting there. Some other things that I like to do now are, what do I like to do? I like to add some sort of background detailing. I actually have a folder here of some cool presets that I like to use. I have some clouds. You can find all of these things online, like an image Google search. I also have for like banners and badges and things like that. I have some shapes for Adobe, like if you wanted to go ahead and add in some of these guys, you can download them as shapes, or even some people have them as, I'm going to have to find it here. I don't know exactly what the name is right off the top of my head, but sometimes they also come in like paintbrush form as well. But for me personally, I prefer these shapes. So what you're gonna do if you want to add in like a banner or one of these little guys, you can go into your shapes. All right, drag it out. I like to press shift first before I drag anything out. It keeps it even and nice. So you're gonna get this shape here. It's gonna look very weird. All you do is click your arrow and then it will kind of clean up for you nicely. Go ahead and put it on wherever you want to put it. I mean, you could put it here, you could actually put it right there. I mean, just kind of wherever you want to put your image. And then there's also a whole bunch of other types. I find these just on random Google searches, deviantart.com, okay, that sort of thing. And these come in so helpful when you're doing your banners and things like that. So a couple other things to play with are the different types of lightings, I guess. The overlay is one that I use a lot. If I have something in the background, it looks pretty nice. You can do soft light, hard light. Doesn't really change a lot unless you have like a background. The hue and the saturation will change the color of things. The hue will change like the hue of it. The color will change it completely. just play with this stuff too. When you're doing it, you'll have a lot of fun. So when you want the kind of like smoked look, you just play with your opacity a little bit, and you can see that it looks really, really nice right there. So I like that, just kind of having that arrow there. Looks pretty clean. You can even add a drop shadow to your shapes, but just like with the texting and just like with other different types of layers, you definitely want to rasterize the layer after each time, so then that way it's fully customizable and that kind of stuff. So there we go. Now we have that. We can even add like a stroke if we wanted to, you know, just kind of make it pop out, stand out a little bit more, that sort of thing. What else do I want to show you guys? So when I like to add like glitter, sparkles, and that sort of thing to my banner, we go ahead and add a layer. You're going to put it to the very bottom. So remember, the layers that are positioned closer to the top are the ones that are obviously going to be on the top. Like this one's on the very top. And then see how this one's on the very back? That's also very important, positioning your layers. So for layer 6, we're going to do a little stamping in our brush tool. So I, again, get all my brushes and things just off of random Google searches, DeviantArt, that kind of stuff. I really love the Stars and Blinks art share one. That's really fun. I use this like a lot. Like there's just so many different things in here that you could use this for. And my favorite right now is this 200, because it's kind of like this paint splattery type of deal. And so once I've got like the amount of paint splatter that I like, I can change the opacity to make it more visible, or maybe just very light, which is freaking beautiful. I love that. Let's see. So that's also a really good idea. If you wanted to add in like an image, I'll show you how to do that as well. Like say these summer burst images, I'm going to add in this one. Okay, you just go ahead and drag it onto your picture. Okay, and you're gonna have to obviously like rasterize it, or just kind of stretch it out. And remember, use shift. That way your images will stretch out accordingly, I guess, and they won't get all distorted. Because I'll show you, let me just do this again. Edit, free transform. Now I'm not using shift here, and you can kind of, when you don't use shift, it will do whatever you want it to, but when you use shift, it will be even on all ends, I guess. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope it does. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and position this and just go and crop it out like we have been doing for like the last 500 hours here. All right, again, you don't have to make everything, see, if it's not rasterized, you can't edit it. You don't have to make everything perfect by any means, you know, it's just having fun with it and experimenting. And I'm just kind of showing you guys very loosely how I do it, because I don't want to show you word for word, because A, it'll take forever, and B, I think that's part of the fun. Just showing you the basics, it will really help. So there we go. If you want it to look really nice, or if you don't want it to look so obvious, if you hit overlay, you can notice how it kind of snaps in there really good, and it just blends in effortlessly. So if you want like a light kind of sunburst effect, that's really nice. Or if you want something a little more dramatic, again, this is not really that thought out, so this banner kind of looks a little dodgy, but you can play with different things. And then that's just a couple of the techniques that I use. Sometimes I like to add like, all right, let's go ahead and color this really quick. If you want to color something after you've already rasterized it and stuff, just by clicking color, it'll give it a different kind of a different shade, so you can play around even after you do it. It's really nice. All right, so we could even do like black, I guess, or should we do hue then and make it more? No, we're gonna have to do color. All right, let's do a different color, something you guys are gonna see. Whew, that's bright. Okay, so sometimes I like to add a little gloss effect to my my images. All right, so this is going to probably be one of the last things I show you. If you go into this pen tool here and you start at the bottom, drag it over to the other side, and then kind of bend it like this. Try to get that arch nice and pretty. And then I just click like up here. You want to do something like this and then connect it. So once you connect it, it's a full loop. You go ahead and right click, fill the path. You're going to want to make sure that you're on a different layer when you do this, guys. Fill the path. I'm just going to do white. There you go. This is going to look really, really creepy here for a second, but to kind of get out of that, you can either click delete path, and then, okay, so to make it look nice and I don't have to sit here and like erase every little piece, all that I do is press Control, okay, and then you're going to get that little guy, Control, and then click that layer, and you can notice that it just selects the layer that you clicked. So if I even wanted to do like my face, I could do that, or if I wanted to do like this guy back here, it would only select it will only select the outline of that image. So we're going to do the Urban Sims, and we're going to go ahead and go select. We already got select. We're just going to do edit, copy, edit, paste. It's going to do a new layer for you, and then you can go ahead and get rid of layer 7 and go and drag accordingly. If you want to do overlay, I think the overlay is going to give it a different look. No, it's not working on this. I always have trouble when I do these with overlay. All right, so go into normal and just play with the opacity, and you can kind of see how it gives like that glossy sort of appearance to your lettering. And this is really helpful when you do logos and things of that sort. And pretty much that's self-explanatory from here. It's all about playing with your layers. It's all about playing with your whatchamacallit, your tools that you have and that sort of thing. So now to finish out your project, you're probably going to see all these layers. If you were to go and save it as it is, it will not register correctly. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to right click on something like a picture and go and flatten image. Okay, so now it's one big image. You're going to go ahead and click save as, and then you're going to make this a PNG file. Just ignore all my stuff. PNG file, and then we are going to go ahead and test, like name it like, we'll just name it tuts, and click save. When you click save, this is going to be a PNG file. PNG is like the highest quality. I love it. I always click interlaced last and click OK. Then I like to go to my channel and click edit channel art. So we are going to go ahead and select a photo from my computer. And now we have the picture uploading that we just created. So we can go ahead and see what it looks like. All right, we're going to go ahead and click select. Obviously, this is just a very basic banner, but actually it looks pretty damn good. All right, so there we go. It looks perfect. Everything looks amazing. And again, obviously, if you have like a different screen resolution, it's going to look different for everybody. As you can see how it snaps. But actually, I did pretty damn good. So we're going to just go and edit our channel art back to what it was. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you all enjoyed like the tutorial. I know it was pretty quick and easy and all that jazz, but if you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to do a little type up on pretty much everything that I talked about, some other helpful tips and tricks and things of that sort. One last thing before I go, when you create your banner, always save a Psd file version of it. So basically the uncompressed version, just save it, save as, like this. It's going to be the Psd file. Just name it whatever. You can have it the same name. And then that way, if you don't like something, like say you go and you looked and you're like, ooh, you know, her face is over here, or oops, this doesn't look right there. It's very simple. All that you have to do is just go back in here and individually edit it. If you have rasterized something, unfortunately, to the point of no return, you may have to go in there and physically edit it. But those are pretty much the basic tips and tricks. I feel like I covered everything, and I hope it was helpful for you guys. I also hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go ahead and again check out that blog post. I'll have it linked down below when it's ready for you guys with the Psd file for you and just some other information and things like that. You can ask your questions here or there. It doesn't really matter. But again, just a very rough draft sort of banner and just kind of how I go about it. So I hope it was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And again, don't forget to go ahead and comment, rate, and subscribe. And I will see you, boo-boo, later. Bye.